Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right. So last thing I want to talk about is the heavyweight boxing scene. And this past weekend we had the Usyk and Joshua fight, and that ended with Usyk winning in a split decision. And I still haven't seen all of the fight. I've watched some of it. Ray, I think you said you saw the fight, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you do think that Usyk won?
Yeah.
Okay. So he won. That's their second match. We won't see them another match with them anymore, I don't guess. And so now Joshua's kind of out the picture right now. There's no other fight to make except Usyk and Tyson Fury at this point, right?
Yeah, well, they supposed to fight in February. So yeah, that fight is definitely gonna be made in and they'll fight in Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Oh,
But
so much
no,
money. So much money.
it's no, it's plenty of fights to be made. It's a good one coming up next weekend.
Yeah, but I'm
With
just talking about as far as the belts are concerned. But yeah, I'm interested in that.
Usyk has all the belts, so yeah.
Who is it? Garcia and Ortiz coming up next week.
Ruiz and
Ruiz, yeah,
Ortiz.
Ruiz.
Yeah.
And so that should be a pretty good fight. Of course, I look forward to Deontay Wilder getting back in the ring, and you got some other ones who I don't mind seeing, Dylan White or some of these guys, and uh, I think there's some good heavyweights, but I really would like to see these belts unified and then see these guys line up to try to take it. And so that's what I'm waiting to see, these guys line up to try to take whoever gets the belt. But I mean, just off the top of your head, real quick, does anybody think Usyk has a good chance of beating Tyson, or is Tyson just too big and too savvy for Usyk to do anything with him? Because he's kind of small for a heavyweight.
If Tyson Fury is in shape, I don't think nobody can beat Tyson. Tyson Fury greatest heavyweight of all time, in my opinion.
And it's like he never looks like he's in shape, but he never gets tired. That dude never gets tired.
A lot of times a guy can lose their focus,
Hmm.
but for a guy to be 6'9", that big, and be able to move and box the way he does,
And has
like
a
a lot of people
chin.
say, like a lot of people say, oh well, Muhammad Ali, and this is no disrespect, but if Muhammad Ali is 218 pounds or 220 pounds, how would you deal with a guy that size? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
Now,
biggest guy he probably saw was Foreman.
yeah, exactly. And Foreman didn't have boxing skills; he just had power.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Tyson Fury. I remember when he first fought Klitschko. Now it's like, man, this guy is an absolute clown. Why can't he just go in there and hit him upside his head, just get him up out of there? And I couldn't figure out why Klitschko couldn't deal with him. But then with the Wilder fight, I really started to see exactly what kind of boxing skill he had. It's kind of like he's kind of like if you could equate him to how Kevin McHale was with a basketball. He didn't look good. He didn't look pretty doing it, but he
But he
could
was
just
good at it.
really play basketball.
Yeah,
And and when you was a kid, you looking at Dominique Wilkinson, you looking at all these guys that really had the skills. You like, man, this guy ain't nothing until he get the ball up under that paint and can't nobody stop him from getting to that rim.
yeah.
And that's how Tyson Fury is. I mean, you get all these guys coming in, all these muscles, and they dipping and moving their head and all that. Tyson Fury got an answer for all that. Deontay Wilder took his bout as bad a beating as you could take in a boxing match. He literally went out on his shield. There wasn't nothing he
He
could do.
did. He
He
did.
caught him, he knocked him down, but
Yeah,
that shot would have put anybody else to sleep.
yeah.
Tyson Fury got up again.
Hmm.
And
Like
I
Michael
mean,
Myers.
you know, Yeah. The third fight, he knocked him down again. You know, but he
Yeah,
couldn't put him away. It
because
wasn't
that
Wilder.
well,
Yeah.
Wilder just he took Luis Ortiz off his feet with that punch, but he couldn't do it with Tyson Fury. He couldn't keep him down.
Yeah.
And so I think as long as Tyson Fury is focused, I can't see anybody beating him unless it's somebody up and coming that I hadn't seen yet. I can't see anybody beating him as long as he's focused. Now, is he going to be smart enough to retire before he gets caught with a lucky shot that gets him out of there? I don't know. But as long as that guy is dialed in, man, that dude, that dude, he's the best since like Lennox Lewis as far as just being hard to figure out. Um, but man, I think the heavyweight boxing scene could really, really do itself a favor by making this fight happen. And if it's good, maybe there's a second one. If it's not a one-sided fight or something, even if it is a one-sided fight, it'll probably still be a second. But the money that these guys are going to make are going to be unreal. It's going to be unreal. That Saudi money runs deep.
Yeah. Well, see, Anthony Joshua was just a guy. He's been getting paid like that.
Hmm.
60, $80 million whenever you fight it. What is it? Oh, the arena out there, and when
Yeah,
he's fighting his country.
in the
So
UK.
yeah, he gonna get his money. But see, the problem I have with a lot of these boxers, just like Deontay Wilder, before he fought Tyson Fury, the most he had made was $2 million in a fight. Joshua offered 15, and you talking about, well, I got a belt and I should be 50-50 split and 60-40 and this and that. Joshua not gonna take his $80 million and give you 20 straight out of his pocket to give you 35 million. That just doesn't make sense. And
Yeah,
guys got to understand, if you're getting paid 7 times more than you ever got paid, you got to get that.
yeah,
That's what Terrence Crawford got to understand.
yeah.
You know,
That's the focus. Ain't nobody gonna take
yeah,
money out their own pocket just because you
yeah.
feel a certain way. If you can make more money than you've ever had, you need to do it.
See, and that's what guys want to work with. Oh well, he can't take $80 million and give me 15. Well, you only got 2 million fighting somebody else. That man gets 60 and $70 million every time he fight. Okay, in order for you to get 35, he gotta say I'll take 60 and give you 20 out of my pocket. That ain't gonna happen,
Mm-mm.
you know. But boxing is so corrupt right now. You got 5 or 6 guys walking around undefeated, talking about they the best, but nobody wants to fight each other. Look at 135.
Yeah,
Ryan Garcia don't want to fight nobody. Teofimo Lopez damn sure don't want to fight nobody. And you know, Devin Haney and Tank will fight each other, but then with the Al Heyman situation and all that, it's gonna be a lot of red tape with that. And then Lomachenko was coming back. Then
yeah,
you got all those guys in the group, and nobody is making that fight against anybody. There's only
not at
so
all.
long you can go on like that. Same
Yeah,
thing with 168. Everybody's trying to wait on Canelo, but Boo Boo Andre and you know Charlo damn sure don't want to fight nobody. Uh, yeah, that guy there, man, I don't
and
know.
and then you got good fighters out there who I think really need to get their due, and I like Better BF. I like uh Pascal. Uh, no, wait, who am I thinking about? Is it? Well, I don't know. I can't think of his name right now, but you got a lot of good fighters out there. I'm tired of these fictional belts that they be making up. Man, these guys come in the ring and they had like 12 belts. I'm like, what are all these belts? What are all these, these regionals or legacy and these different types of belts, man, that
It's,
they
it's
that they use to try to bump up these sanctions and stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
I think they should only have 3 belts like they did back in the day.
Yeah,
And
and
if
be
you get
done with
all
it.
3 belts, then you unify it. Now they want to make it 4. okay, well, you know, and with the boxing match, if the money is not there for them guys to get with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, Crawford got to understand the most money he ever made is $6 million. If they offer you $8 million, you take the $8 million. If you whoop the man's ass, they got to come see you with more money, or else it's not gonna be no fight. But
Yeah,
but if you're 34 years old, you're the guy that's running out of time of being in your prime. So you must fight this guy while you're in your prime. So if you fight now, and by May sometime you can have a second fight. But all this argument and going back and forth, you could have been made the $8 million and on the way to the second
man.
fight by now.
What you talking about? Some of these boxers could be worth so much more money if they just fought more. I would like to see boxers fight at least 4 times a year. I mean, I think one, it keeps your name out there, and two, you can make a lot of money. I mean, especially if you're winning. Now, if you lose, maybe you need to take some time to try to get out of concussion protocol or whatever. But if you
And
win and you're winning in dominant fashion, why can't you fight at least 4 times a year? That's every 3 months.
because these guys are lazy. I mean, if you get in the ring with a guy, you knock him out in the third round, that's not really a fight for you. You can move on 3 months later and fight somebody else.
Yep.
It's different. You out there banging and slugging like Joshua and them was. Yeah, you don't want to fight 3 months later, but that
Right.
ain't the case for good fighters. Some good
Mm-mm.
fighters, you stopping guys third round, fifth round, this and that. Okay, well you ready for another fight?
Yeah. You didn't get hit. You didn't get hurt. Why aren't you fighting?
Yeah.
So boxing needs a lot. They got a lot of things they have to fix, and we'll continue to follow boxing throughout the year as we normally do here on the Very Unsportsmanlike podcast.
And Boot Ennis, everybody running from him.
Who's that?
Jerron Boots Ennis
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah,
running
you
from
kind of
him.
you put me on to him last year.
Yeah, he's definitely coming.
Yeah.
And
So
he wants to fight anybody that wants to get in the ring. Them the kind of guys I like.
me too. Guys who are fighting for their name, more so than anything. And like with him, uh, let's see, he's what? He's a welterweight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, somebody like that guy. I mean, there are plenty of guys that can make fights with him, and I'm guessing they just don't don't want to. But I mean, he's a
yeah.
guy now. He's had about what 30 fights,
I
and he's
think
knocked
he's
out just about all of them.
28 and 0 with 26 knockouts.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's knocked out just about
And
all of them. So I
Virgil
mean,
Ortiz don't want to fight. I mean, I don't blame guys like Errol Spence for not wanting to fight because if you fight a guy that's a good fighter, but he's not known, is not going to generate a lot of money, and you're going to get $5 million to get your ass whooped by this guy, so you really don't want to fight him. But it doesn't really make business sense for him or Crawford to do it. But anybody else, like Keith Thurman, talking about he want $10 million, he'll fight him and all this kind of stuff. You just talking crazy.
yeah,
I just don't know what these guys planning on doing because nobody wants to fight anymore.
at all. And I remember you put me on to him, and I saw him fight uh Lipinets last year, and he put him down a couple of times. I think he finished him. I don't know what round it was, but he took him out probably about more a little before halfway of the fight. And
And,
I mean he was dominant, and so I want to see this guy fight more as well.
and he lives and sleeps in the gym just like Mayweather. So
Hmm.
it's like, he's dedicated. And that's what I like to see guys dedicated.
Yeah, guys who are about boxing, not about just trying to be on Instagram and flexing.
Because you don't get rich if you just fight and win.
Yeah,
But these guys don't understand that.
at all.
Luck, lucky to get them in there twice a year.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas. Well, we'll do this again next time. And Google the Very Unsportsmanlike podcast and learn more about the show.